Well, howdy, nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, another day of me talking with my hands. Thumbs up for that. It is the 26th of December, the day after Christmas Day. Yay! A couple days back, it was the shortest day, longest night of the year, so now we're on the downhill slide heading toward the brightest day of the year. Yay, thumbs up for that. I slept at least a little bit last night, and that's a good thing. Not a whole lot, but at least some. Hopefully you had a great day yesterday, got as much sleep as you needed, and hopefully you're having a good morning today. Definitely a thumbs up on that. And of course, front-loading of videos. Hey, if you could toss me a like, it'd be awesome. If you could subscribe to the channel, that'd be very, very cool. If you could leave me a comment, even for the algorithm, that would be double plus good. And of course, I wish to thank each and every one of my Patreon patrons. These are beautiful and awesome people that are literally helping to keep me alive, and I appreciate that. Hokey smokes, I am on disability. I cannot work, and with a fixed income and the way that everything is going up in price, once I pay my rent, I have so little for food and to survive on. Without your help, I'd be hosed. So, if you'd like to help me survive, I have a link to my Patreon in the video description, along with a PayPal for donations, a Amazon wishlist link with things like cat food, a post office box, and I'll open up anything that I get on camera. Definitely a very good thing. So, front-loading a video is over. Yay. I didn't mean for it to go on that long. Thumbs up. Hopefully you've had a good day today. Now, I want to talk about yesterday a little bit because I didn't get anything at all done. I tried to. I was thinking of, hey, maybe I should record like Minecraft, or maybe I should record one of my solo games. And then I couldn't. And in fact, I didn't even go walkies yesterday. I just stayed in. I didn't feel bad mentally, but I didn't feel good. And so, joy. I mean, I have nobody and no one to celebrate Christmas with. So, I'm all by myself. Thumbs up for that. And so, I tend not to do anything because I'm on my own, and with the added part of, it was my late wife's most favorite time of the year, and so I've got that labeled, piled on top of with grief and all. So, yay. It's always got that big tinge of sadness, but I am doing better. My therapist is actually very pleased with my recovery. When I first started with talking with him, any mention at all of my wife would have been devastating, just devastating. But now I was talking about how when I was out walking the other day, I actually thought of my wife accidentally and heard her voice in memory. And instead of being devastated, I was just upset and angry. Angry about it because I don't want to forget my wife, but I want to remember her on my terms. I don't want to be dragged back willy-nilly against my will to times like that. I want to remember her on my terms. And so that was actually a better reaction. I didn't get unreasonably angry. It was just like, no, how dare you? And then went on with what I was doing. Not being devastated, just going, no, and then going onward. So that's a definite thumbs up. But yeah, I did next to nothing yesterday. I didn't even play many video games. I watched mostly videos and then tried to stay awake during some times, and I still tried to be as creative as possible, but it was just a weird day yesterday. So I gotta go out and do all my exercising today. Definitely hokey smokes. Skipping a day, not good. And then this morning, on an interesting note, on the spider report, I went into the bathroom this morning because, hey, I wake up after several hours worth of sleep. I have physical bodily needs to take care of. When I went down there, I just reached over in the darkness, flicked on the light, and then did what I had to do. When I was done and I was getting ready to leave, over the light switch was this gangly leg spider, tiny body, big legs. And it's like, I must have freaked her out and tore up some of her webbing when I went and flicked on the light when it was dark. So I got something and I picked her up and I moved her across the kitchen and then did what I had to do, turned off the light and all that. And then when I was going down to do my teeth, before I put them in, I clean them and all, I put them in a dish with a denture cleaner, and then I have to rinse them and such. So, but when I went down there, I was looking around, of course, and there was a gangly leg spider, could have been her, that was setting up her web down in the corner near where I put my scale to weigh myself. So maybe she walked all the way back. Maybe it was another spider. It's cool. I don't mind. As stated, I have still a human primitive fear of creepy crawlies, but I am no longer arachnophobic. You know, given my terms to understand what a thing is on my arm, you know, if I look down and I see something moving around on my arm because I feel it tickling, I'm going to freak out if it's a spider or a moth or an ant or whatever, because it's like, creepy crawly. But it isn't going to be specifically, a spider. No, if I have my opportunity to process what something is, it's like, spider. Okay, let's get that thing off there. Doodle-doo. And then there we go. So thumbs up on that. But some of the things that I do want to talk about, I want to do this one real quick because it's on the creative stuff, and then I'm going to jump into some other things and then come back. I had to laugh at myself last night. One of these things that eventually I pick up on what my subconscious is doing. It can't tell me directly what it's working on and what's happening. I had given my subconscious an ultimatum. You need to work on shadow cryptids and what they are, or if I just need to drop them. And then I started fixating on the human beings who have the sight. Who have the vision, where their third eye is open and their vision is cleared, and I've determined that they are actually cryptids that have a genetic disease. So when they don't express physically. They have a physical matter body. They stay human with a body, but everything else has changed with all of their extra universal cryptid parts. Because of this, they are more than human, less than cryptid, unable to interact fully with their old world, but unable to fully interact with this new world they find themselves in. And it was last night that I went, oh my gosh, why did my subconscious fixate on this? Because it did exactly what I told it to do. What are shadow cryptids? Neither cryptids nor people with the vision understand that shadow cryptids are human beings with their third eye open. They are shadowed by the cryptids with full expression. They live in the shadow cast by their human parts. They are cryptids that aren't fully cryptids because their bodies haven't converted. More than human, less than cryptid. These are the shadow cryptids. Everybody wonders who the shadow cryptids are because they know that there are shadow cryptids out there. But nobody understands that the shadow cryptids live and walk among them right now. So, coming up with this stuff organically, I never would have figured all this out on my own. I could have made the cryptid world by pushing and forcing it. Maybe a third of it is deep and rich and fully formed as it is right now. I could have never have made all this stuff work on its own had I pushed it. But with my subconscious doing all this stuff, it fits perfectly. And I'm that kind of stickler that I've said, if just one card in that house of cards doesn't fit, I gotta take it out. And if that happens and the whole thing collapses, then it all collapses. It has to make sense. So, thumbs up on that. I'm glad that I was able to figure that out. My subconscious is doing its job. Now, of course, well, there's two things, but I'm going to talk about this one. First, Micro Chapbook RPG. I've mentioned before how, especially yesterday, making maps in a lot of the solo RPGs is more art than science, especially, in like Note Quest, where they don't even tell you how to make the rooms. That's left up to you. They tell you, large room with 2 doors. Past that, make it fit on the map, make it yours. Working your way up to 4 Against Darkness, which gives you little templates of what the room sections look like, but I alter those to make them fit the map. up to D100 Dungeon, where you figure out, what it looks like on a table, what's in the room on a table, and they get intense and granular. Way back again, there's another game called Micro Chatbook RPG, and on the fantasy level, yeah, it's all random. How do you determine what your room is? This one is very loosey-goosey, because you take a d20 and you roll it, and the number that comes up, that's the number of squares in the room, and you're using graph paper, so if it comes up with 5, you make a room that's made up of 5 graph squares. How they come together, that's up to you. Make the room is just only 5 squares. It's up to you. Is it a corridor? Well, it's up to you. Is it a square room? It's up to you. And then for the doors, you just roll a d3, which is, if you roll a 1, 2 on a d6, it's a 1, 2, 3, it's a 2, 4, 5, you know what I mean. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's a d3. That's how many doors there are. Where do they go? That's up to you. And that's the room generation table. You roll a d20 for how many squares it is, you roll a d6 to determine the doors, and then past that, write it down on the chart and figure it out. Write it down on the chart, write it on your map. That's very loosey-goosey, and you know what? I like that one too. Hopefully I'm going to be playing Micro Chatbook RPG at one point for the channel. We shall see. So thumbs up. Now, the thing, there's 2 things, and I don't know if I'm going to have time. My lips are all dry. I didn't even eat potato chips yesterday, but my lips are coming off. This is horrible. I'm going to have to edit that part out because it's gross. There are 2 things that I wanted to talk about. One of them is still what a table is, that whole question. And the other is, I watched a video last night. I kind of like this whole analog horror thing, depending on how it's done, where it looks like, the stuff that was made, like on VHS tape and all that, where it was made pre-digital time. And I like some of that stuff. It depends on how it's done. I found a channel where there's a thing called the Living Meat documentary. It is an alt history, because this takes place in another world where this stuff started happening like in the 50s. And then they have video documentary of it. But the world changed massively. There's now something called the creep, which looks like actual veins and such that grows up out of the ground, and it just looks like big veins growing up all over everything, and it's edible and animals can eat it, and it's always flaking off and dying, and even though it's sucking nutrients out of everything, as it dies it decomposes and releases those nutrients, so there's extra plant growth, extra animals to eat the plants, and then from that stuff and the animals dying and releasing their things, the creep continues to grow, or the crawl, and then it goes on from that. But then there are like 5 different creatures that grow from nodes on these things, ranging from things that they call it's like scraps, something like that, but it's a little meat animal, and it's got 6 legs, and it's just gross, but it's harmless. And then they go up to like the meat snake, and it's a thing that can grow up to be like 16 feet long, and it eats corpses, and it incorporates meat from the things that it eats into its body, and it's supposed to be totally harmless, only eats corpses, and that's kind of icky. But then they start dealing up to things like the harvesters, these bulbs that will grow and up to 150 feet out, all of these things underneath the surface, and they have these claws that hook and inject poison, and they thrash to cut up the victim, and then the poison and the such like that, your blood just drains out of your body, and you bleed to death, and it takes anything, and these things are big. And then there's the mimic, which feeds exclusively on human flesh, and other creatures like this. And it's a world that has changed with these creatures in it, and the documentary has all sorts of weird cut splice areas where the tape was put back together, and it shows bits of newspaper clippings and things from existential / cosmic horror books, and it's just really disturbing. It's very, very good. Definitely a thumbs up on that, and I wanted to talk about it. Look up Living Meat documentary, like Vita Carne. It's very, very good and disturbing. Definitely a thumbs up on that. The big thing about tables, again, is it comes down to, it's the talk about when people want you to say, okay, what is a woman? And then define what a woman is in one or two quick phrases. But I have asked this because I saw it on a video where it says define a table. You know, if you say a table is something that has legs and a surface that you put food onto or can put food onto, well, how many legs is it? One leg or an infinite number of legs? Because you have tables that have one leg, and then you have tables that have an infinite number of legs. So how do you define a table just by the number of legs it has? Well, then it's size. If you have a table for a dollhouse, that's a table. Is it a table? Can I serve dinner on that? Well, obviously that's not a table. Now you're talking about size. Well, if you're talking about size, how big is an actual table? Is it the little tiny thing? How about a table that is as big as a room? They have those. Those are very, very big. My housemates are getting up. Is that a table? And does it have to have legs at all? I've been into restaurants where the tables jut out of the wall and have no legs. So all of a sudden, a table doesn't even need legs. So really, what is a table? Because these things back here, these are surfaces that are resting on the floor. Do you need a leg to have a table? Again, are these tables? Can I serve dinner on these? And since things can jut out of the wall and be a table, how about a shelf that you have that just comes out of the wall that you put knickknacks on? That comes out of the wall. Is that a table? Each one of these things functions as a table of sort. But when you say, you know what I mean, no, define it for me, define a table. You're already having to write a book just to define what a table is, and you can't. So how is a biologist supposed to say, oh, a woman is this in one or two phrases? You can't even define a table. Because does a table have drawers? Is a desk a table? If a desk isn't a table, how about those tables that you have where they have drawers that you store stuff in? Now if that has drawers, is that not a table anymore? And if it is a table, how come this other thing, the desk, isn't a table? Define a table. That's going to be tough. And of course, let's see what else I have on my list, which is nothing at all. Except, of course, for just stating, even if I never play RPG stuff, even if I just collect RPG things, I discovered back in my youth that I enjoy just reading and imagining these things, even if I never play them. So even the solo stuff, I don't necessarily have to play. And I've opened up 24 hours worth of comments in my community tab. Going to go through and thank however many people have left me comments in the past 24 hours. If I mispronounce a username, no disrespect is intended. And even though I count in American Sign Language, well, I haven't had ADHD meds for a couple days now. We have Noah Genevieve Brown. Thumbs up. Thank you. Hopefully I continue to pronounce it correctly. I bet I didn't today, but thank you. Good to see you in the comments. We have Brett Wofford. Thumbs up. Thank you for the suggestion. There is Milk. Merry Christmas indeed. Adrian XJG. Hopefully you had a good Christmas. Shinra. Merry Trisma indeed. Melissa R. Thumbs up. Thank you much. Jesse Koskinen. Always good to see you in the comments. And yeah, it does look like a wig, doesn't it, on that duck? And then there is Nocturne Venom, greatly appreciated. One that does art, thumbs up and thank you much. And Chris, greatly appreciated. Buddha Dao, thumbs up and thank you much. With a whole bunch of good stuff. There's Sebastian Ferris, greatly appreciated. And Flora Mew, Merry Chrysler indeed. It's always good to see you. Thumbs up. There is Robert Bitsilly, greatly appreciated. Kibbs, thumbs up and thank you. Jade0195, thumbs up and thank you. Alexandra Lee, thumbs up. There's MUISEO, greatly appreciated, and I recognize your name, so it's good to see you. There is Cake, greatly appreciated, and that is it. In the past 24 hours, I had 9 people who left me comments. Thumbs up, thank you much. Greatly appreciate it. Get me out of my head, into the world, and dealing with real people. If only for a short time, and if only in text. Greatly appreciated. Well, hokey smokes, it being Monday, I'm going to try and get some stuff done, but with it being just the tail end of the year with all the holiday and stuff and people just taking time off and such, I don't know that I'm going to be able to get much official stuff done, but I'm going to do what I can, and if I can't, that's okay too. Survival mode is important. Don't beat yourself up. That's very important. And of course, with everything happening in the world, if people are getting sick when you are, take appropriate precautions. If people are getting hurt, don't go where that's happening. And if you're out walking and you hear the mournful howl of the bus horn, that bus with your name on it, well, it's too late to get Merry Christmas, but still, you are gonna die. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is indeed a very good thing.